Something just a little bit different this time. This is both a woodworking video and a gun video. But I'll tell you what the video is about here in a few seconds. I filmed this about 3 or 4 years ago, and this is one of my early videos. I've been sitting on it ever since. I shot this with one camera and my iPhone. I hadn't learned the benefits of doing a 3-camera shoot, proper camera positions, lighting, or how to be comfortable in front of the camera. Too many ahs and ands, and also forgetting to look directly into the camera. And at the time, I hadn't bought or learned how to use a really good quality video editing software. You can fix a lot of bad with good software. But anyway, this is still a pretty good story. And in this video, I'm going to introduce you to part 1 of a series that I filmed repairing and customizing a gunstock for a customer. It's a sporterized A3 Springfield. And if you stick around, I'll tell you what's in part 2. So let's roll the intro. Wood chips and black steel. So this is a sporterized A3 Springfield that a customer brought in, circa 1920-ish. It's been rebarreled and rechambered to a 256 Newton. And when the customer brought the gun in, what he was asking is that I restock it with this walnut gun stock to finish doing the fitting between the metal and the wood. And then once I had completed that, wanted me to finish all the outside contours on the stock. So this gun stock is something we call a semi-inletted, semi-finished gun stock. And the fit and finish on this, we have some issues with it. And when the customer brought it in, he brought it in with a budget, so we had to sort of work through some of those cost issues and figure out what was the best way to get him a custom finish without having to spend a lot of his money. So there were some compromises that needed to be made. One of the issues, or some of the issues, is that the fit and finish. I'm not sure if it's from the factory that manufactured the stock, or if somebody had this stock before I did. But some of those are that when we do this, we try to get as close to a line fit between the wood and the metal as we can. And this inletting on this gun stock, there are several places where it was overcut. So it left some significant gaps on the top, the top receiver and the barrel, and especially in these areas where the radiuses are. Bottom was even something a little bit more significant. On this trigger guard and box mag assembly, there were gaps everywhere on this part of the gun stock. So I've been working pretty hard trying to clean some of those up. In this box mag area, there were huge gaps on either side of this. So I don't know if you can see this, but I needed to add in some wood here, and I needed to add in some wood on this side as well. So in order to do that, I had to find some walnut in my stock that matched close for color and grain. And then I had to mill away pieces of the original stock on both sides of the mag well, and then also in this section where the trigger guard is, there was a significant gap there as well. So I had to cut away or mill away material here, and then piece in this smaller piece that you can see here. In order to do that, I needed to create these very clean, sharp surfaces, and both in the wood and in the add-in pieces as well. Because if I can get that fit so it's nice and fine and crisp, when I add the glue and then squeeze that all together, when the glue dries, the seam disappears. You shouldn't be able to see where the glue line is. Now as well, when we're done, I'm going to have to maybe add a little color and maybe paint in a little bit of grain if it doesn't look exactly the way it needs to look. So I'll do that as well. The other issue I had was on the bottom of this, where the bottom of the trigger guard and box mag assembly fits in. There's a dimension that we have to maintain between here and here and here and here, so that when we install the barrel and action into the gun, and then insert the trigger guard assembly and the box mag. That when we bolt this together, there has to be a certain amount of compression between the metal and the wood, and that compression serves a couple purposes. The first purpose is it actually keeps the barrel and action clamped in place. And then the second function that it has is by torquing that up to a specific torque, we're better able to control the accuracy of the firearm. So we need to have that. We need to have enough material there in order to get that torque, to get that compression. I had to add in some epoxy bedding compound. Again, I mentioned earlier that the customer had a budget, and there was a couple ways I could have handled that. I could have milled away all of this material and then glued back in strips of walnut, or I could have just used this epoxy to build up that surface. Now, epoxy bedding compound is something that's been used in the custom gun stocking trade for years and years. And the nice thing about it is once you've added in that epoxy, and once it hardens, it's actually very stable. So because it is stable, a lot of custom guys will actually do an epoxy bedding through the entire inletting barrel and receiver. I'm not a proponent of that. It has its advantages, but in the case of a sporterized hunting rifle, it's not as necessary and doesn't serve any real significant advantage. All right. So you might ask, why are we going through all this work for a gun stock that has all these issues? Well, quite frankly, this is a nice looking piece of wood. It's a nice piece of walnut, and I've got some mineral spirits here, and I want to sort of just wet this with the mineral spirits, and hopefully you can get a really good sense of really how pretty this piece of wood is, and certainly can see that it's better to spend a little bit of extra time, maybe a little bit of money, and get this thing so that it is the attractive gun stock that I know it is, as opposed to just scrapping it and throwing it away. So that's why we're doing this. So that's where we are on this to this point, and I'll keep you guys informed, keep you up to date, and thanks for watching. In part 2, when we come back, I'll show you how I patch mill and final fit the barrel into the gun stock. So if you enjoyed this video or get any value from it, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so you get notified the next time I post a video. And comments are always appreciated and help my YouTube ranking. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.